Hey everybody, goemonronin here. Now I am coming to you from a public Wi-Fi location. I was so disappointed with my internet service that I have pretty much just let it go, and I just don't have internet at home right now. I have an option I want to go ahead and do as far as internet goes. Excuse me, but I just haven't really done it yet. Today's beverage of choice is a McDonald's standard iced coffee. No flavor in that one. I found the flavors tend to give me heartburn. Okay, so I have a couple of videos planned for today. Whether I'll get them both uploaded, I don't know. But this is sort of the update video. I don't know if I mentioned, but back in January, one of our kittens passed away, Tabitha, the gray tabby that I show you in the video about the kittens. And she was pretty much still a kitten. She was a year and a month when she passed away. We had taken her to the vet back in November, and they did a blood test, or she just didn't look as kind of chunky as she had, and she looked like she was sort of losing weight to us, and she had these lumps around her neck, and that seemed like bad news to me. So we got her scheduled for a visit with the vet. He did a blood test and found out that she did have feline leukemia virus, which is not necessarily a death sentence. In Tabitha's case, it, however, was, because the virus had spread to her bone marrow and excuse me. And led to a lymphatic sarcoma, and then that sarcoma had spread to her, or at least one of her lungs. So she was in a great deal of discomfort and had trouble breathing a lot of the time. We decided against euthanasia because she'd go in and out of like being in good shape and then being kind of miserable. We got her started on a CBD regimen and everything like that, and we just couldn't pull her through. She was just too sick. Our other two cats seem to have cleared the virus. It's very likely that they all have it, since they're all housemates and they've been together as long as we can tell they've been around. And you know, and we took care of her from the time she was just a little thing to, you know, when she passed away. And I've actually had a vasectomy, so Jana and I aren't going to be having children. We've kind of decided against it. So, you know, she was like our little girl, and I don't want to really speak for Janet here, but I've found that to be a very difficult situation to deal with. I've been kind of depressed since she passed, and everything like that. So there's that kind of happened. Also in November, I lost my package handler job, or rather what happened is I was put on suspension because I got into an altercation with a coworker. Now, I felt I was wrongfully terminated. I mean, I didn't ever touch the guy, really. And it took 4 months for the union to get my hearing together because they were going through officer changes and stuff like that. So, I spent 4 months trying to contact those people and kind of find out when I was supposed to have my hearing. And then I get a call one day asking where I am, and apparently the guy from the union had left a voicemail for me, which I never check anymore. I get so many of those car warranty calls and stuff like that like, I just never check my voicemail. So I guess somehow I missed his call and everything. So I ended up showing up to my hearing. They had to reshuffle me to the end of the day. And I just really was kind of unprepared for the thing. So I go down to the facility and I have the meeting, and what they want to do is basically let me come back to work, but they want the 4 months to count as a suspension without pay, which I wasn't really okay with. But I sort of grudgingly accepted the job back. And then that day they sent me down to do my fingerprinting again, even though I was already still in the system. They sent me down to get my fingerprinting done again. This was the first red flag, because the union people were like, yeah, dude, you still have an employee ID, you're still technically an employee. So I go and do that, and then I'm supposed to start in 2 weeks, right? April 1st was when I was supposed to start. And they had said people would be in contact with me to let me know when to come in and who my soup was going to be and everything like that. I just want to remind everybody that I am still a payphone and Wi-Fi technician, so I do still have a job and am occasionally very busy. I have to go out of town for a lot, and sometimes even out of state for a lot of our Wi-Fi jobs. So, it's not like I can just be on the phone checking my email and calling people all day, which is a big problem that I'll discuss in the next video about work. So long story short, they called me in a couple of days and they said that my fingerprints didn't come back right, so I had to go down there and redo them. They made me fill out all the same paperwork again, even though I just filled it out for a second time. And they said again that they'd let me know if the prints came back fine, and that somebody would be contacting me to let me know who my soup is and when exactly to come in on the 1st. That never happened. The 1st came around and I decided, I've got to make money. I'm going to go out and work my Wi-Fi job. So, I pretty much decided that since I hadn't been contacted and that, they were being evasive and everything like that, that there wasn't actually a job. They said they'd take me back to satisfy the union, and then ran me through a bunch of hoops and, just gave me a hard time to make me resign, which is exactly what I did. I had also thought about, I'd also talked to a couple of people via email in the meantime, and found out that the guy would have been willing to hire me back in a week after I was terminated. So, in my mind, I'm still wondering where my 15 weeks of back pay was. It seemed like the whole goal was just to A, screw me out of my back pay and benefits, and B, get me to not take the job, because this is actually a time of year where they're getting rid of people. I just don't feel like there was a job. I then had a an interview with a security company for the Lockheed Martin facility in Grand Prairie up here, and was offered the job. Went and did my drug test. They did my background check, and then they contacted me and they were like, yeah, we're going to move forward with the orientation process. And a couple more days went by, and somebody contacted me again, and they were like, has anyone from corporate contacted you about, orientation or anything like that? I was like, no. And they were like, okay, well, you just keep checking your email, and you'll get something shortly. That was days ago. So that job also involves up to 15 miles of walking every day. And as a lot of you guys know, I have had gout in several of my leg joints, my knees, my ankles, my big toes, and my legs just aren't. I can do some walking, but 15 miles worth of walking every day is kind of a big deal. I also had an accident where both my shoulders, but mostly my right shoulder, was separated very badly. If you guys can see the bump right there. But that shoulder's not turned out to be very good. So I am kind of concerned about being able to do their physical assessment test and CPR. That shoulder dislocates a lot. The motion for CPR would be a good occasion for it to do that. So, but I feel like they've already moved past me as well, despite them seeming pretty serious about wanting to hire me. So kind of consider this a part A video, even though it's not really going to be labeled as such. I will post another video with my game plan from here on. But pretty much what I've been doing for the last 6 months or what have you is working on getting married, which took a lot of work and effort. Going on our honeymoon, which I might do a video about separately. It was a kind of interesting experience, and just kind of trying to find work. So, and mourning the loss of our beloved pet. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call this video here. Keep in touch for a second video. I do probably have to go out and work today, so nothing from my supervisor yet on that. But I will try and get the videos uploaded at some point today. Just keep in mind I am doing a lot of things through this public Wi-Fi connection right now, and it's not all that quick. Anyway, I'm gonna run out.